Good morning, friends. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. This is the weekend reading, and it looks a little bit different because I'm sitting in the living room. It is, as you can see, 7:45 in the morning, and all the animals are sleeping. Well, most of the animals are sleeping. So I'm out here in the living room to do this weekend reading, and this is a special weekend reading. So this is what we celebrate in Canada as Victoria Day. And it is a wonderful sort of weekend because it is the unofficial start to summer. And so typically on this weekend, lawnmowers are out and people are out in their garden and there's fireworks and barbecues and celebrations, and the garden centers are all open. This is typically when people in Ontario, for example, go out to the garden center and get all of their plants. And, it's typically safe now to start planting. Just as an FYI, 3 days this week, I think Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we had frost warnings overnight. Yesterday morning was -2 when we woke up. So welcome to Canada. Anyhow, I wanted to share a little bit about Victoria Day and how it came to be, because I think it's super interesting. So in Canada, Victoria Day is a federal statutory holiday, meaning that all across Canada, we have the day off. Now, obviously, if you work in a store or a garden center or whatever, it's up to those employers if they want you to work. And then, of course, you get paid for the holiday pay. So Victoria Day is often celebrated with parades and fireworks, as I said, and it would be similar to Memorial Day in the U.S. It is a weekend that is traditionally considered the unofficial start to summer. And although it was established way back when to commemorate Queen Victoria's birthday, it is now observed in celebration of the current sort of times, we'll call it that. So here are some interesting facts that I found out. So I think these are super interesting. So who is Queen Victoria? Well, Queen Victoria was on the throne when she was just a few months past her 18th birthday. She was on the throne for 64 years. She was a formidable woman, we'll say that. And I have some stats here, which I think are sort of interesting. So Queen Victoria is Queen Elizabeth, the late Queen's great-great-grandmother. They say that Princess Beatrice, which is Prince Andrew's daughter, looks an awful lot like Queen Victoria. An interesting tidbit. Let me go to another page here that I've saved. And we have just some interesting facts about Queen Victoria. So her first name actually wasn't Victoria. Her first name was Alexandria Victoria, but she preferred to be called by her second name. She was the first member of the royal family to live at Buckingham Palace. She was barely 5 feet tall. As I said, she became queen when she was 18 on June 20th of 1837, after her uncle, King William, had suffered a heart attack. She was under constant supervision. And if you've ever been able to watch the movie about Victoria and Albert, it's quite a love story. She was multilingual. She was fluent in both English and German. Her mother had German roots. She later learned to use her German because Prince Albert was German, which was her husband. She also studied French, Italian, and Latin. She survived multiple assassination attempts. One of the really interesting things I think about Queen Victoria is she actually proposed marriage to her husband. So she was ahead of her time in that. She began more than one popular wedding trend. It was common for wedding dresses in those days to be of different colors. And Queen Victoria wished to show off the lace embroidery of her dress and requested it in white. And so that is sort of where the white dress for weddings became so popular. She also asked that none of her guests wear white so as not to draw attention away from her. And she actually had the dress pattern destroyed so that no one could copy her dress. That's according to Vogue. And she also had over her veil a wreath of myrtle and orange blossoms, which many a bride have then adapted. And those have become somewhat traditional wedding flowers that you would find in a bride's bouquet, which I just think is super interesting. She also influenced popular Christmas traditions, one of them being the Christmas tree. Queen Victoria and her husband, Prince Albert, popularized the custom of a Christmas tree in 1948. Prince Albert, sent decorated trees to different schools and army barracks around Windsor in the UK. And it sort of took on this whole new look of Christmas. She had 9 children. And she was the first monarch to ride on a train in 1842. She is the second longest reigning British monarch. And many people all around the world know who Queen Victoria is. And you will notice on the thumbnail that I create for the beginning of this video, there's a Canadian stamp with Queen Victoria's portrait on it. It is a 2-cent stamp, obviously from long ago. So those are just a few interesting facts about Queen Victoria that I thought that I would let you know about. What I think is super interesting is, we have these holidays, and oftentimes we may forget why we are having this holiday. And so I thought it was interesting to look that up. Sorry, I just bumped the laptop. I'm so not used to operating laptops. So I've got a bunch of cards out here. And what I would like to do is I would like to ask Queen Victoria, through Spirit, to provide us for a message of this weekend. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decks plus my tarot deck. So let's go ahead and get started. And I think that the first card that I want to pull from is from the Past Life Oracle. So remember, friends, the weekend reading, as always, is meant to give us some food for thought, some pep in our step, something to help us as we navigate throughout our time and our day and our journey. It is a general message, so it may not resonate with everyone. If it does resonate, claim it. If it does not, leave it behind. So we have high priest or priestess coming out. So this, very spiritual person, right? Obviously that she was the head of the church in England, and she was a very sort of powerful figure for that time. Interesting card that comes out. She was responsible for really bringing the monarchy to the people. She would go out into the streets, and she was one of the first monarchs to do that, to go out into the public. And she started really the tradition of what we now see the royals doing, going to different charities and different causes. And, when they walk the streets and shake the hands, Queen Victoria was the one that sort of brought that to the surface. The true people's princess, or people's queen, I guess. All right, let's move on. This is the messages from the Spirits of Nature Oracle. So she wants us to know that she was a strong, formidable woman, that she had influence and power, and she was a true leader. And we all need to remember to exercise those traits within ourselves. We have the cedar tree and wisdom. Using the wisdom that she would inherit through her bloodlines. No doubt the pressure that came from that same sort of, following in the footsteps of, especially being an 18-year-old young lady. That would be, I would think, quite a daunting sort of task to take on. I feel, based on what I know about Queen Victoria, that she really listened to her gut and her intuition, what she felt was right. She was a woman surrounded by a lot of men that thought that she, was just a pretty face kind of idea. And she had to really assert herself to prove her worth. And so I feel like that wisdom card has come out because she really had to count on that to be her navigator, right? Her North Star. We have two cards, one fell out. Live playfully with a light heart. Sorry about the glare. Listen to the voice of your inner child. And she was, obviously at being 18, would be very difficult to take on such incredible responsibility. And I wonder to myself, how often did she get to have that playful sort of side of her really allowed to come out and play, right? So balance is what she's asking us to keep in mind. Your deepest desires constrain you. Let them go to clear your mind. I think to myself that it must have been, especially in the early years. And again, if you've watched, any of the movies or read books about Queen Victoria, she had a mother that was influenced by other people. And her mother was trying to keep her on a very, very small sort of rope. And she didn't have a lot of movement that she was allowed to sort of express, even though she was the queen. They say that the first thing that she did, or that she asked for when she became a queen, was an hour alone. She wanted to be left alone because she was very closely monitored up until that point in time. So the deepest desires constrain you. it would be interesting to look into Queen Victoria further and find out when exactly, I mean, if it's known, when exactly she felt like she came into her own. She is very much a woman that was forced into something probably before she was mature enough to understand the magnitude of her responsibilities. And there was a lot of people in her ear, a lot of people telling her what to do, how she should think. And she was open to that. But she was also very much able to make a decision. Again, tying back to that wisdom card. We have from the crown chakra, dreams. Messages, signs, symbols, and guidance. Again, tying into that high priestess card, she was a person of great faith, I think, and a person of, like, a very spiritual person. And it is possible, I don't know this to be fact, but of course it is always possible that she had a connection to spirit. She was being guided, maybe by her uncle or another ancestor. Perhaps her father, who had passed away when she was such a young girl. So yesterday I spent the day in the garden getting it all ready. Planted a few little things that I had already here, like transplanted, moved some things around. And this weekend we're planning on having a lovely barbecue. And we're going to finish up the garden, and I'm very excited about that. Looking forward to it. We have the energy healer. What an interesting card. Your natural ability to heal yourself and others is needed now. So, asking us to tap into that energetic force that's within us, our connection to a higher source, our connection to spirit, using that connection to create a powerful sort of boost, if you will, to help us continue to lift the vibration, to continue to see the good versus the not so good. It feels very inspirational, this message. It's, dig down deep. You've got the power, you've got the strength, you've got the fortitude. Dare to dream big. You can do anything you want. Reach for the stars. The sky is the limit. Like, it feels very much like that. I mean, when you think about it, whether we know the story about Queen Victoria or we don't, Queen Victoria, 18 years old. At 18 years old, when you say, I want to do X, Y, Z, everybody around you is in your ear, sort of telling you that you don't really know what you're talking about. One could imagine, because we've all been 18 and had, good ideas, not so great ideas, harebrained ideas, or what seem to be, crazy ideas to others. And she really had to work very hard to stand her ground, to stand firm, and to fight for what she believed in. And I totally dig that. I'm so inspired by that. We have Green Adventuring coming up as this is the Crystal Intentions Oracle as the stone here. On the back side of the card, it says, maintain a healthy heart, improve beliefs about good health and overall well-being, increase healthy outlook on all levels, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. It is easy for me to maintain overall well-being with conscious habits of health. She was instrumental in stopping, or solving, I should say, and bringing forth a resolution for the cholera breakout, I believe, in Britain. And nobody wanted her to do that, but she insisted. At least that's how it was depicted in the movie that I watched. One more oracle card here. It also ties into that, to the card where we had about, the balance, right? The living, live playfully with a light heart. Understanding that balance. We have cards falling all over the front. Bear with me for a moment. Okay. So we have 4 cards that have come out. We're not going to take all 4 cards. So we're going to put them back. And we're going to shuffle again. Sorry, I have the window open if you guys are hearing cars driving by or whatever the case may be. All right, we have the General Washington rose called the Sage. Beautiful, robust, round rose. And I need to go to the book to tell you the information from the Sage. So listen well, you are being given help and knowledge, and the knowledge that you require. It's just not in the form you are seeking. Also open yourself to your inner sage. Here lies the way best attuned to your most authentic path forward. So again, tapping into that wisdom and her gut instinct, right? Really trusting herself and believing that she had the answers and the knowledge to be able to move forward. I love that. So the plant energies for this particular rose, the astrological sign is Sagittarius, and the meanings and the uses of this rose: wisdom, truth, and education. Isn't that interesting? She was definitely a truth seeker. All right, so let's throw a couple of tarot cards here, and let's see if we can get anything else for this message from Queen Victoria. What does Queen Victoria want us to know on this weekend to celebrate her? I don't have a lot of real estate here, so even though I have a huge coffee table. All right, so we have a jumper. We have the Knight of Fire coming out. Confident, passionate, going to the beat of your own drum, knowing exactly what you want, going after it. We have the 8 of Fire coming out. I'll show you these in a moment. That is activity, multitasking. It's information coming in quickly, which, is something that obviously she dealt with. A lot of demands on her person and her time. People requesting, audience with her. And we have the 4 of Swords coming out. The meditation, the contemplation, that restful time, which goes back to those other 2 cards that we had in terms of the balance, right? I feel like the contemplation, the 4 of Swords is coming out because this is something that she probably did more often than we would ever even know about, where she had to, remove herself from the outside world and really go within, as I love to say, check in with herself. How does she really feel about things? We have the 8 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. And so, she was doubtful at times, obviously. There was confusion around her at times. But she also exercised her free will. She trusted her gut instinct when she felt strongly about something. And I totally dig that. Totally dig it. Okay. Last card is from the Guardian Angel cards. Let's close this out with a really lovely last card. Message from Queen Victoria. Okay. Wow, look at that, you guys. We've got gratitude. Beautiful. Thank you. This is a heartfelt thank you to you from someone you recently helped in some way. I, your guardian angel, also wishes to thank you for the unconditional love you emanate to the earth, humanity, and those around you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are eternally blessed. May peace, grace, and love forever guide you along your sacred path. Wow. I feel that people felt that about her when she was on the throne. And her message is, if, one of the most important things about the coronation that most of us just watched was it's about service to the monarch. Despite whether you believe in kings and queens or not, they pledged an oath to be of service to the people. This is being of service to the people. And so we think of this as, if we put out that love, and we put out that empathy, and we put out that joy, we put out that energy into the universe, it will go to who needs it, and it can be returned to us even more powerful than when we sent it out. Gratitude. Outstanding message for the weekend. I totally love this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it resonates. I hope it helps in some way. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. I wish you many, many, many blessings. And I am not back live until next Wednesday, where Ron Unconditional Love joins me at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to be talking about healing. How we do it, how we start, where we can find support, and all of that. We're going to be hearing about Ron's healing journey, some of my healing journey, and so I hope that you can tune in for that. And then next Friday, weather permitting, we will have our first Friday at the Fire Pit. So that's always exciting, and I hope you can tune in for that as well. And I will see you when I see you. Many blessings. Mwah! Bye for now.